name is Nariba Shepherd.
And I'm Justin Arnett Graham.
And this is Terms of Service. Oh, what?
Wow! A little break has treated us nicely.
That was nice. First go. All right.
I'm just like, look at that. So
wait, I have to do it though.
Okay.
Oh
yes,
because
that's fair.
it's part of the situation.
It is a part of the situation. It is tradition.
All right, we're back at it again.
You know, at our home studio at Blind Barber. Excuse me. I was like, what's going on? It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I'm just falling apart.
You're just used to talking on the phone and not into the mic. That's
this
the problem.
Is entirely true.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting a little nervous, but how are you?
I was going to ask you that.
That's entirely fair.
How are you? I started it.
Fine.
Okay. What you been up to?
I don't know. It's just kind of been a whirlwind of shit, of things. But things are good. We're riding a wave, you know?
Fair.
I'm having a hard time, if I'm honest, because an absolute embarrassment of a show that I've never missed an episode of. It's going through some things right now. You know, so fucking Vanderpump Rules.
Oh!
Okay, so I'm just okay.
Literally, I was talking about this for a solid 40 minutes the night before with my friends. I found out my friend Jessie watches Vanderpump, and she's a regular bitch.
Okay.
Like, she does not do this.
Okay.
And I was texting our other mutual best friend, Julia.
Yeah.
And then she merged the group chats because she was like, I can't do this separately. But fuck Tom for leaving Ariana for Raquel. It will not be a spoiler alert by the time this episode drops.
Absolutely
but fuck
not.
him.
Yes. So that's how I've been doing.
Shambles.
Yes.
Shambles. We watch Vanderpump Rules here at Terms of Service. So
yeah, and
potato chips for the brain, baby.
It is potato chips for the brain. Absolutely. But then on that note, how are you? But
yes.
1 second.
Yeah.
So there is a London-based podcast that I'm absolutely fucking obsessed with.
Oh.
And they're just my favorite.
Okay.
And it's called Shits and Gigs.
All right.
And if we ever come across them, I will literally lose my mind because they're so funny. And I put up something on our story recently, and I was just like, this will be Nariba
oh my
and
God.
And I was like, so the question that I asked for you, did you miss me?
Yes. Oh my God. Don't act like you're the needy one. I'm the needy one. Hi, baby.
Okay, well, yeah, that's fine.
God.
Okay.
But
what's the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sweet.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Because I ask you that all the
have you
time.
missed me when I'm not around?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to hang out like regular people, but you be a busy bitch.
You know what?
I'm busy, but you're like always busy.
Okay, you know what? I'm working on balance. 2023, come through, balance.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put
Fast
that in the
forward to 2024, still talking about balance.
I know. I was
okay.
like, bitch, you've been talking about balance for 2.5 years now.
Listen, I feel like I've been talking about balance for 3 fucking decades, but we're doing our best out here. But back to you. You're doing well?
I'm doing well. I have a small victory to share. So most people know that I'm a back of house bitch, but I have been bartending officially, not beer wenching, since November. And
wonderful.
I didn't realize that closing bartenders do not get paid for actually closing, like doing all of the additional work and counting the register, doing deposits, all that stuff. And so I was like feeling a little triggered, like when I was
feeling away.
The AM prep person, and all of a sudden I had all the responsibilities of the AM sous chef, and I wasn't being compensated for that.
That part.
So I spoke to management about it, and we had 3 separate meetings, and eventually I was just like, I want to make sure that us getting compensated is fair, and we're not like making me a bigger part of the tip pool and we're taking from the other bartenders. I don't want it to be on the onus of the customers because, like, let's be real, that shit is minimum wage slavery.
That part.
And so I wanted it to be the onus of the business.
Right.
And like 20 minutes after the last meeting, we got what we wanted.
See?
It's like not exactly what we wanted, but it was a moment of like
But you got
actually advocating
something.
for myself.
Yes.
And like after the second meeting, a bunch of bar staff texted me and was like, thank you so much for like speaking up and pushing back and like doing that. I've never seen someone do that before in the service industry. And I'm just like, when you walk in with the confidence of a middle-class white man,
Damn.
you can do anything.
Yes.
You can do anything.
Well, hooray for small victories.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
it was like the second or third day of Women's History Month. So I was like, I just made women's history, bitch.
Yes, absolutely.
Not really, but
and
like,
you're just
small
like,
steps.
and I'm sliding in from Black History Month.
I know.
So, yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot
it's
of
still
things
February.
going on.
It's fine.
It's February every day
Yeah.
over here. Aquarius season. Anyhow,
It is Pisces season.
I said it's February every day over here.
Okay,
so it
I
is
just want you to
Aquarius-
know
Yeah.
that Pisces season also starts in February.
Okay, I don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
not know that. Me personally, I know Aquarius season, and that's what it is because the homegirl Tabitha Brown, also Aquarius,
Yeah.
big Aquarius energy, and I'm
It's
just
like
gonna leave it at
y'all
that.
just don't have.
Are you
like,
gonna
a
read me
set-
down? We have a
I'm
guest
not
here.
reading
and we're
anyone.
gonna- okay, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just saying, like, reminding everyone that Aquarii don't really have a set plan, but they know the general direction they're going in and will do anything along the way to make that goal happen. It's like a really
But why does it feel like a salmon
complicated
going upstream?
kind of.
Valid question.
I mean,
It's sort of like a really fucked up game of Candyland, which I play regularly now because I hang out with a 7-year-old
Fair.
and she's there.
Fair.
We're at Candyland level. So
wonderful.
shout out to Kiki. She's doing my makeup next Wednesday. Pray for me.
Okay.
We have a guest.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yes.
I'm enjoying the conversation.
You know, it's
You know, we just have to like flirt with each other
No,
a little
please
bit.
do. I like to
you
see
know,
it.
It's
fine.
That's what's up.
It's a whole thing.
Don't hate me.
No.
I was like, I'm like, everything is going to be just fine. But we have had such a beautiful tone on the microphone
Yeah.
as we have been talking about this. And that rhymed. And I was quite impressed with myself. So that's why I brought it up. And that's why I'm
you
going to
have
bring it
like
up again.
6
anyhow,
weeks of dad jokes to get out. So
you have no idea. We're about to
For
fuck
real.
it up. We're going
Yeah.
to fuck it up. Anyhow, hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Terrific, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And sharing the space.
yes.
And talking about the things and doing it all.
But first, introduce yourself
Who the
to
hell are you?
our guests.
Who the hell am I? My name is Francis Pascal.
That is your name?
That is my
Yes.
name.
Yes.
Welcome, Francis.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm a chef here in Chicago. I own a private dining company called Vendedor,
Yes.
and that's kind of been my thing for the last couple of years.
Dope. Well,
But when's your birthday, though?
My birthday is January 10th, so it just passed. Yeah,
Capricorn.
that's right. So when you were
Yes.
just like, Aquarius have like no plan, I was like, I got the plan, man.
I
got the plan, man. Okay, yeah.
Capricorns
Yeah.
have plans A, B, and C.
Yeah.
okay.
Um,
yeah.
It's also like a big generational drop for
Okay.
millennials. So like 3 of my houses are in Capricorn.
9 of mine are.
God damn.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, your motherfuckers have real estate out here?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are basically
Very.
like
A goat.
you own all the blues
don't-
in Monopoly.
I was just
You
like-
have that
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
line at
That's
the
the one
end
game I do like
leading
to
up
play.
to go. Oh my god, we're not.
Okay,
My family,
we're gonna
we're
talk
not
about
allowed
that,
to
yeah.
play Monopoly because we're too serious. Like we would play until it's time to go to sleep, and then we would lock.
Well, that's
The
how long
door-
it takes to play anyway.
We would lock
Yeah.
the
The
game takes
door
ages.
with like.
Yeah.
The game still set up, everyone's money like in envelopes, and
Ah,
then
that's
our
crazy.
aunt
Yeah,
would like
that's real.
unlock it the next day so we could go back.
Okay, that's wild.
So like shepherds are not allowed to play in the same game of Monopoly because it never ends.
Fun fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
I love a Capricorn. Yo,
We appreciate you.
Yo is a big Capricorn. We
Yes.
share memes on a regular basis. If people looked at the content of our DMs, you know, it's.
I really
don't
enjoyed that
want-
long pause. Being
Yeah.
like, well, you know, there's.
Think about whatever you want it to be in that long
Yeah.
pause, and it's
Yeah.
probably that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Well,
So like it would make sense that you would own your own business.
100%.
Yeah. Like I get it.
I want to run things.
Yes.
It's just unfortunately how it is. I'm like, I can't release control. Like I gotta be the one.
Are you a dog person?
Yeah, I love dogs.
What breed of dog would you have if you could, like, if you walked into a shelter and there was just like your dream breed there? What would it be?
I feel like it'd be something like a setter, like something that's just like an outdoor, like shepherd, something that's like.
I don't know what that is.
That
just
falls in line.
I'm gonna Google like a breeding dog and stuff like that. I mean, like hunting dogs, stuff like that, right? Like they're just they herd sheep or stuff like that. Like my
Big
dream.
Capricorn energy.
Yeah, my dream is definitely just like have
want a dog
ranch,
that
like,
controls other animals.
Yeah. I'm like, do the thing for me.
Yes.
So this is like hyper alpha male.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily that.
Way,
No, I
but
wouldn't
not
say
in a bad
that.
way.
No, it's just
it's like very, very confident.
Capricorns
Yeah.
are dominant personalities for a reason.
It's very much just like, for whatever reason, like the way that I think of it, at least, I'm just like, I see the vision and I'm good at delegating. So I'm just like, okay, this is how everybody can win. You do this, you do that, I'll do this. You know what I'm saying? So, and like, I feel like I can just point people and also be a part of the team at the same time.
Yeah.
So like for me, it's like, it's not so much about the domination aspect of it. It's like my team just got to win. That's how I look at it. I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm willing to play any part. Like if I got to jump in and do dishes, then that's what I'm doing. But servers got to go well, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, that's real.
See, I also have that energy, but the way the fire signs are set up and working against me,
Wow.
I just have to like fuck shit up a little bit. Gotta be a little bit petty, a little bit messy.
See, I'm a little that way too. My moon is in fire, I think.
What's your moon?
It's Sagittarius.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's my moon.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an Aries with a Sagittarius moon.
Oh, so you just
I just want to burn shit to the ground every
That's
day,
what's up.
and I have to like.
Not necessarily angry, but I don't know, like
It's not angry.
But
Sometimes it's just like
it's just like,
kiki. But
okay, yeah.
You're like, you know what?
That's what's up.
I'm
For
feeling.
the fun
I
of
woke
it.
up. I felt spicy. I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
Okay.
And then I have to live
good.
with the consequences of my actions.
I mean,
Yeah. Is it impulsive though?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I can't stop it. It's
Yeah.
like, I want to, my Virgo is like, don't do it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to do it. I already did it.
Yeah, I feel like I only know about I'm honestly like, I don't know really all that much about it. I feel like everybody in my family, especially all the women, just like I just grew up like that. Like they're
Around.
they're all into it. So like I can't, it's not like I look it up myself, but like I just know that one quintessential person that's just like that sign kind of thing. Like my dad's an Aries. I'm just like, like real fiery, spontaneous.
Yep. Always down
Yeah.
for a good laugh.
Yeah.
Can't stay mad too long. Like you can hold a grudge, but
Yeah.
like it's out of principle after
Yeah.
3 days. It's just like, it's not
gotta
like you're
let it go.
actually mad, but you know, it's shady. Yeah. And
I'm
my
here for all of this actually, and I was like, do I know my parents are? And I was like, yes, I do. Dolores is a Leo, one of the only Leos that I love. So,
there has to be one, that stands the tale of time in your life.
but let's be really mindful of the road that we're going down here, because this is
have
not
been
a
better.
this is not a.
Are people in your DMs complaining?
Mad.
Are Leos in your DMs complaining? Are they?
Francis.
Yeah. No, I'm like, dude, man, let's just make it about this now.
No,
No,
I'm
you're
just
good,
like,
you're good.
but you know what? They would love that. They would absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Same.
So that's the thing.
Okay.
So before we get into the whole thing, well, as we're getting to the whole
Yeah.
thing, why don't you talk to us a little bit about your background, my friend? Where
My
are you
background. Yeah. I'm from Albania originally. I was born and raised there. I came here in 2004 with my parents and my sister.
Wait.
Just, yeah.
like Albania?
Albania. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I was born and raised there. Didn't speak English or anything when we came here.
from? What was that?
I mean, interesting. Honestly, I feel like I learned very quickly. I speak 4 languages. And I knew 3 before I came here.
What
I mean,
languages do you speak?
Albania is my first one, and then we learned Italian in school very early on, and then Spanish, and obviously English. But I mean, that's just like a very European thing. I think Americans are like very impressed, but it's like if
It's
if
regular everywhere
like,
else.
Oh, yeah, because I saw something very recently that was just like, what do you call a person that only speaks one language?
Like American.
An American. And I was like, damn.
Yeah,
I was
people
like,
have to like
ooh.
assimilate here very quickly in that way.
Yeah, I used
but,
to have
yeah.
an accent. Now I don't.
Where are you from?
Trinidad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're young. I was 11, almost 11. Like, you're like a sponge. I think I watched Dragon Tales for like 3 months, and I'm like,
Yes.
I'm good now, you know? So, I mean, the immersion thing,
Yes.
right? It's just like being fully put in there. That was, it was really intense, but we also left very abruptly, too. Like, I think our parents told us within like a week
Dang.
of like, you know, knowing that we were going to move here. So that, I mean, it all happened very quickly. But yeah, that's my background. That's where I come from.
Where did you land when you first came to the States?
I mean, technically Chicago.
Okay.
We moved to like the northwest suburbs for a little bit while, you know, I went to middle school or
Which
finished
one?
up. We moved to Addison originally. We were there for like a year, and then we moved to like Glendale Heights.
Okay.
So yeah, I
Heard of it?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's whatever, 25 minutes right outside of the city.
It's right over there. As they say.
Yonder. Yeah.
Yeah, over yonder. Absolutely. For sure.
So yeah, I mean, I spent about 8 years out in the suburbs, moved out here officially in like 2012, as soon as I graduated high school, and then I've been here since.
God damn.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get into the industry, my dude?
I mean, interestingly enough, I mean, I guess not really all that interesting. I think I just didn't like, I had a couple of ideas of what I wanted to do like straight out of school, but I think really I just wanted to get out of my parents' house.
That's real.
Love them to
Extremely real.
death, but you know, teenage angst is all that, you know,
Yep.
growing up in a communist country with very strict parents. I'm just like, you know, they always had a very tight grip, which, you know, in retrospect, I appreciate it. But
For sure.
at that age, I just wanted to get out and didn't really want to go to college, but I knew that I, you know, kind of wanted to go into this world. Like I never like cooked growing up or anything, but
Same.
it just
I was around people
yeah,
that cooked a
but
lot,
that's
and
what
I
I'm
loved
saying.
watching my
Yeah.
mom do it and like my family and stuff. But I
Yeah.
had never cooked. And then when I went to college, I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, you like
in
kind of have
Vermont.
to, yeah.
and there was nearly a fucking
Yeah.
ethnic food
Yeah.
anywhere.
The culture in the US is just different in terms of that altogether. Like for us, like being that it's just such a poor country altogether, I mean, we're just so much closer to the source where everybody is just like growing their own food, living off the
Exactly.
land,
Yeah.
kind of like still on a bartering system in a way, at least when I was growing up. I mean, this is, you know, 20 something years ago, but you know, things are also just a lot more traditional in the sense of like how a family is structured. So like I just grew up around a ton of people and huge families, and the ladies are always cooking, right? So like my grandma, my mom, like it was just mandatory. Like we just ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. Like the way the culture is structured around there is like
love that.
you don't work these crazy hours. Like you work from a certain period of time and then you go home. And you have lunch with your family.
Yep.
And like the phones are off. I mean, we didn't even have cell phones at that time, obviously, but you have like that one landline that like nobody calls. It's just a cultural thing where it's just like from whatever 1 to like 5, you spend time with your family, you take a nap, and then everybody goes out. Right. And
See,
Europe's real different.
yeah, my number one, and my family knows this, and number one regret growing up is like there was such a divide between like, you know, women being in the kitchen and men being men
Yeah.
somewhere. And my mom would always just make like the best food.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, you know, why it tastes so good. And I realized as I got older, it was because she was putting just a little bit of angst in there. Because she was just like, you know what? She's
Yeah.
like, no one's in the kitchen fucking helping me out. And I was like, because you don't let anyone in the kitchen to help you out, you know?
Yeah.
That's
And
part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before she goes, and this is a very real conversation,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna need a notebook of all these recipes. Okay?
I've been on that shit.
Because I'm just like, let's
Every
figure it out right
time-
now.
Every time Sharon comes to visit, I'm behind
Shouts to
her
Sharon. Hi,
like a
Sharon.
hawk, just
Yeah.
taking notes. She don't measure shit.
Yeah,
Same
see, that's
thing,
the
yeah.
thing. Yeah, I mean, and I don't either really. When
I
I'm cooking for
like-
myself or nothing like that.
Well, she's when I'm cooking like savory stuff, I can wing it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like for the baking things,
Yeah, pastry in
yeah,
general is super difficult.
I'm not the best. So I made her do it like
Mm-hmm.
regularly, but I put the bowl on a scale so that I could write
Yeah,
down how
yeah.
much of everything
So you're
is
very
going
like
in.
stealth with it.
I mean, the last time it wasn't very stealth because so my nephew, who's also a Capricorn, is first of all, I love him so much. He's 19. He's in college right now, and his personality is like coming out. You know, he's growing, but he's very big into pastry because it's like a science. So over the years, I've been getting him like a scale and like these mixing things and pointing him in directions of like the books that he should be reading. But he wanted my mom's fried bake recipe and I gave him the baseline of it. And when she went to visit, I was like, do the scale trick. Let's compare and contrast our notes. Like, and it was different. Every time it's different, but it's consistent.
It is, yeah.
So now we've just decided she lives within a range.
And that is kind of what it is, too, like, to be honest with you. I mean, baking is definitely way more precise, and I think, you know, people, especially pastry people know that, but, like, you know, if your peaches are more ripe than usual, you know what I mean? Like, there are certain elements. There are certain elements that do change along the way, but I got my grandma living with me now. I moved her here from Albania a couple years ago.
Oh my God.
And
my heart is full.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's 96. She's freaking old. Still cooking, still like putters around the house and cleans and does whatever just so she can stay busy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like hyped for her, but I cannot imagine being alive.
Yes, I'm hyped
for like
her.
It's crazy. Trust me, I already know.
I'm not hyped for me.
My great grandma died at 112.
God
she was so old. But and I totally get it. I mean, she's so old. She's at that point, like, you know, her husband's passed, like a lot of her siblings passed. She's at that age where she's like, bro, just take me away. Like, but
it's real. And like, I think it starts around like 70. All of a sudden they start talking like real loose about life, but they're like living and doing everything. And I'm like, so the last like 30 to 50 years, you're just tired.
And I mean, that's what she does. She sleeps most of the time.
Yeah.
You know?
You gotta make up for that shit.
But when I hang out with her, I try to learn as much, you know, about, you know, the culture and but also just, you know, the way that she cooks certain things. Like, I'm just like, she still got it, right? And it's just it's a thing. I mean, I think cooking is one of those things, like, you know, it shouldn't be like a professional thing where, like, I very much urge people. I'm like, dude, you should cook. Everybody should have this basic life skill.
Yes, agreed.
And you should learn it from a young age, and you should be around it. I think it is one of those things that really brings people together, like a non-negotiable. So
I feel like a lot of the people in my family are surprised that my boyfriend also cooks because, like, in Trinidad, you know, men don't really be cooking.
Right.
So like whenever I'm on the phone with my family, my sister or my mom or something, and I'm talking about Andrew cooking, they're like, oh, like, that's so fancy and special. And I'm like, it is 2023.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not
You're
doing
like, I was hungry and he was
50-50,
fixing me a plate. There we go.
Like, that's so the cultural aspect of like how food is passed down generationally, I think, is finally getting to a more interchangeable place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
everybody should have. Everyone should have that capability.
Everyone should just be able to cook, feed yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So when I was younger, I had an amazing grandmother on my stepdad's side. Her name was Mama Lola, and she was one of the coolest. And she always made it's like pasteles and you know, like arroz con dules and like the whole thing, right? And when she passed, and by the way, this is very common knowledge, this man will never listen to this, but my stepdad and I do not get along.
Yes.
However, when she passed, we were all at the house in Logan Square, and he like comes around and he's just like, this is the last pot of rice like she made. And it was like,
that's real.
like everyone just like sat there just like savoring every like morsel of it. I was like, oh my God. And I was just like, and this motherfucker has like never connected with it at all until that very moment, because he tried to make something. He added like orange juice, and I was like, dog, like, no. I was just like, come on. I was just like, I get that you're trying.
Juice.
I get that you're trying, but there was something so special to where like you could just see it across so many different generations
Yeah.
that it was truly, truly beautiful. And to this day, it's just like I can taste it.
Yeah.
Still.
Forever.
Still. Can never, ever duplicate it. But I was fortunate enough to have it for my entire upbringing.
But
Yeah.
you know what? That's how it happens. Like you can't duplicate, like you can never recreate something almost like to the letter of what it tastes like to you.
Right.
But if you're doing it really well, you're still passing that on generationally.
For sure.
Like
Yeah.
I know that my fried bake will never be as good as my mom's, but to the rest of my family who
Right.
can't make it, they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
like,
shit,
oh,
this is
that's the
fire.
one
So
to do
like
it.
I could
Right.
pass that on to, I don't know, my cats, question mark.
Fair. I mean, there was a general consensus with him specifically being like, yeah, this ain't it. I was like, yeah, dog, no. I'm
We-
just like, you're gonna have to
we
throw
knew
that right in
that,
the
man.
trash.
Yep.
We
Okay,
knew
I'm
that.
just like this way, like, drag it out back.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fair.
actually.
Okay, what was the job that made you like think and feel like, all right, I want to do chefing?
I don't know that it was one specific thing. I think it's more culture than anything,
Okay.
right? Like it just so happens to be that it turned out to be cooking, but I think our culture is so much centered around hospitality. Like we're just like that. Like somebody comes over to your house, like you bring out all the nicest stuff that you have. Like
Yes.
you make them not lift a finger. Like that's my thing. That's my love language. That's how I love people. It's just like putting other people on, making sure that you're taken care of. Like, and it's, it wasn't just like my grandmother's, or it was just everyone around you is like that. So I think that's always been the thing for me. It's like just making people feel loved that way. Food, it just so happens that I happen to be like good at cooking. Like it's a natural thing. I can't explain it. Like my brain just works within the laws of physics and chemistry, where I'm just like, I just kind of get what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I really started off that way or that it hasn't developed and stuff like that, but for whatever reason, like it just kind of makes sense to me and it works. But
Right.
really it's more of just like bending over backwards to making sure that somebody else is taken care of. Like I just love the feeling. Like I love being selfless in that way. So I think
All right.
that's kind of why this industry has been super appealing to me, because I'm just like, I know that I'm in this kitchen for these super long hours and I feel tired and this, that, and the other. But when I see somebody, be happy with the experience that they're having, like I think this is something with Venador that I just keep trying to put out there, where it's just like, I think we've all been to a meal or something where like you've been eating the food and like, a few days later, a week later, however, much later, like you might not even remember the food that you were having, but you remember the people that you were with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that the food's not important. Like it very much is, but it's creating memories, right? Like that's the thing that's gonna last.
That's the part that gets us.
So-
Yep.
That's
So-
what happens.
So that's my thing, right? It's just like I know that this might be really difficult. Like I think the guests have no idea sometimes that like how long it took for this stuff to all come together. That we had to talk to all these farmers, that these vegetables take time to grow, right? That like all these
Yes.
things that we're
Right.
pouring so much love into it, and like they might not even realize or
What
have
do you
the same
mean you don't
passion
have
for
tomatoes
it.
in January?
Yeah, but like
Don't get me
they might
started.
not realize
Yes.
that this is all it. But like for me, like that almost doesn't matter in a way, because I'm just like, I wish them nothing but just like a grand old amazing time. Especially at some of the restaurants that I've worked at, like it's expensive, right? Like people come for a celebratory thing, right? Like a birthday, graduation, et cetera, like I just want to make that a memorable thing. I want you to just like always hold that in your mind and be like, man, I had a great time.
Yeah.
So like whatever it is for me, like it doesn't matter. Like I said earlier, I'm like, my team just got to win. When I say that, I'm just like, it doesn't matter if I have to run the food or just like clean silverware or polish the glasses. Like as long as we're providing this experience and it's a magical moment, and it doesn't even matter if these people don't realize that, like just being involved and doing it with people that you care about and that care equally about the thing, like it's so powerful and it builds community.
I wonder
Absolutely.
if has your perspective always been that way?
Always. Like
Damn.
I think it kind of makes sense in it, like just growing up there was like, that's such a big thing. Like I think in the United States, like everyone is just like dying to be an individual, and it's a completely okay
Yes.
thing, but it's like it is a privilege in a way to like have all these basic resources met. on a consistent basis. Whereas there, it's like that wasn't it. Like I grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment with 9 people.
Yeah.
Like we needed each other at all times. So it's just like, and on top of that, I played soccer my whole life. Like it's always been a team oriented thing. So it's like for me, like it's always been about community. Like it's always been like make sure that the people around you are taken care of, because you need that. Like we've always needed that, right? Like if everyone went away today, like what would you do any of this for, right? Like
I mean, yes. However, I think about it in terms of the feelings that you're describing are why people go into the industry. And I think a lot of the time that feeling goes away when you're working in restaurant settings always, because we created like the customer is always right mentality.
That is whack, to be honest with you. I totally, for sure. I agree.
Are
I agree with that
hospitable
one.
people that are like giving everything all the time, and we're creating memories for these people, and they don't get.
Well, it became a business. That's what I'm saying.
And so that's why I was asking, like, maybe part of that pleasure has come back for you because you're doing your own thing, owning your own thing, and you're in charge of like these.
It's
private
intimate.
situation.
It's very
Exactly,
intimate, right?
yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, before the mics were cut on, like, most back of house people are just like introverts. Like they're just like in the dungeon in the back because they don't like to really talk. I'm a little bit of both. But this is special, right? Like a lot of the times, like the servers are the ones that are getting all the, not recognition, but the praise, and just be like, oh, this is delicious. But like, as the cook, like I love to see that. I love to see that these people are enjoying themselves, right? Like I remember my mother like cooking for us as like a kid, and she like would just sit there and just like watch us eat, and she'd be like, how is it? Is it good? And I would just be so annoyed. I'd be like, bro, just let me eat. But like I get it now. I'm just like, is it good? Like, are you enjoying yourself? Are you having fun?
Are you eating at the same time?
But are you eating? Are you fed? Are you nurtured? Are you taken care of?
No, I'm talking about you personally.
Me?
Are you like big noni energy where all the food is down, everyone's eating, you make sure everyone's fine, and
I'm like
then
eating
you join.
out of a deli.
Yes.
Yeah, like I don't really like.
Yep.
I don't really care. Like I can really eat anything. I mean, I have not a very specific diet, but I try to eat fairly healthy and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm just like make sure everybody else is taken care of, and then I can just like chill and relax. But at the same time, like I'm trying to be on my feet. Like, do you need another glass of water? Do you need a thing? Like it's just I feed off of that. I feel like it gives me energy. Like I'm just so pumped.
Well,
and
you
jazzed
are
to
a
be
Capricorn, so. It
Badass.
all makes sense.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's that energy.
Good.
Yeah.
I was, when you were talking about like getting the feedback from food, today my Lyft driver was like, it's 7:30 in the morning. He's trying to have a conversation.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday morning. Because he was like, blind barber, what's that? And I was like telling him, I was like, oh yeah, we record a podcast that blah, blah, about the food service industry. And he's like, oh, do you work in it? And I was like, yeah, I used to be a chef. And he was like, where at? And I said, the Heritage in Forest Park. And he was like, your burger was so good. And I was like,
see? Yeah.
Because usually like you're not running into people that fucking ate your food.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, thanks. It's Rick Olamacher's recipe, but
But nonetheless, you made it, right? Like
it was like I kept it on the menu, but I mean,
shout out to you for
everything.
having that long of a conversation.
Oh yeah, if I
such
decide
an
I
hour.
like you, I'm in it to win it.
Yeah, that's great.
But if I
Yeah.
don't, I'd be like, oh my god, I pretend to be on a phone call.
Yeah. I mean, if you get me talking about something I'm
Regular.
passionate about, like I just won't shut up. But
Yeah.
like if you're just trying to make small talk, like that's crazy.
Yeah, I can't do the small talk. I will literally throw on some headphones and have nothing playing and just be like, well, this is what it is. So I
Going
would
back
like to
to the
know
formula.
Well, but I would like to know, what does venador mean?
So vendedor really, I mean, I guess it comes from like the Latin or Italian of like, or even Spanish, like vendedor kind of. I just spell it a little bit differently, where it's kind of like, I mean, it's like a seller of a small, a vendor, or like of
I mean, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
I'm just like,
I just think of it like, somebody that just has like a small intimate product that they're selling.
Doper than like.
Yeah, just
Well,
vendor
that's what
or
happens
whatever.
when you
I
only
mean,
speak one language.
damn.
He's like, why you had to do that to me, man?
I was just like, okay. I mean, I really did set up myself.
I mean, it's kind of a good and a bad thing. It's kind of a good and a bad thing. In terms of like business, like especially being here, like people don't have that connection, right?
Yeah.
So like in terms of like visibility and people being able to find you and stuff like that, like they might see that and be like, what the fuck is this? But if you see something like Private Chef Co., like people that's straight to the point. Like you would look for that and you would find that. So
Right.
you know, in retrospect, on my next business is probably going to be something that's a little bit more.
Like, come get your food.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, like
Here.
yeah. I you know, it'll be a little, but yeah, you know, I'm happy with
classier.
Vendedor. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But I'm happy with Vendedor. I think it's a cool name. I think I just like to say it.
Do you like specialize in any one type of food? Like, is it like home food, or are you doing some like?
No, we do a ton of stuff. I mean, we do private events in people's homes for whatever celebration, or you know, at our we have a partner venue called Realm Events and Design. There on Pulaski and Irving Park, so we'll do stuff there. I just did a pop-up series that I'm starting called Vendedor Ventures there. But then we also do, you know, corporate catering for larger companies. We do like luxury weddings. So it's all encompassing. Like if you think of food, think of us is really how I think of it. And like, and I really like the challenge of just being in a new space and a new menu with a new person every single time. Not that I have a lot of repeat clients that I work with, but like that rush is kind of fun. For sure.
Well, yeah, and then it becomes one of those things to where it doesn't feel so redundant and
and mundane. And I mean, you know, for some people it's that, like, and I can understand, right? Like you work at a freaking station for 6 months doing the same thing. There's good and bad things to it. You might be like, oh, I'm ready to move on to the next thing, but then there's also the good part of being like, man, I've done this thing so many times that I can do it with my eyes closed now. And and that's a skill set, man. Like being able to replicate the same thing, like consistency. Like if you think about your favorite restaurant, you think about your favorite anything. The reason you keep doing it is because you enjoy the fact that you know that it's going to be the same every time. So
I feel like that's how people felt when they ordered the endive salad at Blackbird. R.I.P. It was like the same for 22 years.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
It was delicious. Yeah,
absolutely.
110%. But it is where I get my PTSD for poaching eggs. Being on that station and having to like do the perfect poached egg, make sure your water pot isn't gunked up and all that shit. Whew.
Yeah, that's a Capricorn in me though, man. I just routines, like it's cool. Like I can just keep going over and over and over.
I am desperate for a routine, but I am bad at committing to them. I love a good routine, but I'm bad at committing.
I need it. I'm like, I need structure. Like
I do too.
Yeah.
It's funny because
You're like, funny that you say that.
My entire childhood, I went to schools that required uniforms. And I was like, when I work, I'm never going to wear uniform. And then I became a fucking chef and wore uniform every goddamn day. And I was like, there's something about like not having to think about certain things. It's just like, boom, I'm doing it. Yeah. I think that's why I also really liked working in kitchens, like the hospitality factor of it. Also, like no one's looking at you until I moved to fucking Chicago and everything is an open goddamn kitchen. But it's like,
it's a big thing now.
You know, it's just the structure. I live for a structure.
Yeah.
As soon as my schedule is solid, I feel like I can do anything. Man. But as soon as like I have one day off randomly, I'm like, what the fuck did I do yesterday?
Well, like this is me, man. Like this.
Look at that! That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy.
Yes,
I was just like, I was like a calendar that is just.
I wish y'all could see it, like if it was on video.
Amazing.
I think
it's so helpful.
If there's not a calendar invite confirmation, it's not happening.
I cannot live that life that y'all are doing over there. But if I had like a nanny,
also let me just go ahead and say something real quick. We talked about this in a previous episode. So you can always reach us collectively at connectivetermsofservice.media. But if you would like to reach Nariba at termsofservice.media, do not expect a prompt response because you use it for what? You use it for what? Free trials
and Dollar Shave Club
and Dollar Shave Club and like all the things. It's okay.
That's what's up.
You know, and I'm just like, It's all right. It's why we have options.
Listen,
So
at least I have notifications on your emails.
that is great.
That's crazy.
You know,
man.
I figured out how to do that.
That's what's
I,
up.
okay,
I
let
ain't
me,
mad at it.
wait, where's my...
You know what?
I have to show him. This will stress you the fuck out.
Me?
I mean, both of you.
Okay, great. Well, you know, I'm
Okay.
I live in a perpetual state.
Yeah, I'm
so
just like, what is
Do you
that?
see how many unread emails I have?
No.
God, no.
Absolutely not.
16,208.
I can't even see the red. I'm just
Yeah,
like, click.
exactly.
I'm like,
I was
click,
just like,
check it
mark it
out.
as red.
And then
Yeah.
our terms of service email, 309.
Okay, that's better. That's better.
Insane!
Like-
What's insane? It's just, no.
Are they all
Insanity.
important? I mean,
I don't know. I only
She
opened
does not know.
Justin's.
It's okay.
Crazy.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. But when people will share screenshots of a text message and then it'll show like 1,700 like
Crazy
unread
to
text
me.
messages, I was just like, you psychopath. What
Yeah.
is going on here?
All my text messages are
Because
read.
that feels
Yeah.
like an
Fine.
emergency.
Yeah, I'm
and for
gonna be
anyone out
stressed,
there
man.
living that life,
God bless you. Man.
yeah, shout out to you on the edge,
Yeah.
okay? Because it couldn't be me.
It is
not be me.
It is a miracle
Will
that
not
my
be me.
phone is charged on a daily basis.
That's crazy.
I
gotta be
am-
honest.
I'm literally
Sloppy.
sweating. I'm literally sweating, and I would love to move on because
Okay.
this is crazy as fuck to me. Wow. Wow. I forgot that we were even. Wow. Okay.
Sorry.
So, Francis. What inspires you about the hospitality industry? I know you talked quite a bit about your background and the motivation with your team, but
Yeah.
as an industry as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's a hard question to answer in a different way than, you know, I think the kind of the things that I've mentioned already. But it's a team sport. I think that's like the one thing that kind of really inspires me is that like in a way you kind of either all win together or you kind of like all lose together. Like
Teamwork, dreamwork.
like that's kind of the way that I look at it. I'm just like, there's so many running parts that like you all have to be so in sync for this thing to happen. And that to me is just like, it's amazing. Like that's incredibly inspiring to me that we can be so structured as people to make things happen all together. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just only one facet of being a human, but I think humans are just fascinating, man.
Same.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
We
The
are
fact
wild.
that we have just built the things that we've built in general, like just as a species. So I think that's the kind of thing that inspires me, man. I'm just like, there's so many moving parts. There's so many things that could go wrong
Yeah.
at all times, and the
I
fact
mean,
that they
COVID.
don't.
What?
Yeah, that,
Sorry, that happened to
Yeah.
us.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
well, you know what I'm saying. Like that's like a natural disaster. But like just where things are you know, in the restaurant, like it's hot, things are sharp. There's a whole bunch of people like that all have different personalities, that all have different shit going on in their lives. Like, but coming together in a way that's united. Like I love that. I love the fact that we can all come together for the same mission. What is
Amazing.
this? If you like pina colada,
I
what's
was
going
like,
on,
oh,
man? It's just, no, you good, you
I'm
good.
sorry.
Trippy.
Which one is she?
I'm like,
Ooh.
okay. I'm like,
Okay.
hold on a second.
This is a Miami Nice. Yeah?
I was like, is this?
No?
No, I was just like, this is the never did a kickflip.
Is this a Nick and Nora glass?
Yo, this is delicious.
Like, hold on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Hold on. Well, as I say in the furniture business, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Tahine? Oh,
No,
hold on, tahine.
I've not moved on.
That was a good dad joke.
You know. All right.
Wait, there's.
All right.
Oh, this is whole egg. Okay.
Yes, Aggie.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. I'm not an egg white bitch, but I do like a flip. Did I say that correctly? Are flips whole eggs, Max? Yes. Nice.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yes. So this is absolutely delicious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
truly.
And so
God.
thank you again, Jack, for doing the damn thing. And as like my
Goddamn.
entire family would say, it's like putting your whole
Ooh, there's a
shoe
snack.
in this. Okay, there you go, because this is amazing.
There's a fruit snack.
So this is featuring the gin alternative from our friends at Ritual Zero Proof, and it is called Never Did a Kickflip. and it
damn.
has raspberry syrup, lemon juice, a whole egg, and finished with skewered raspberries, and it is finished with a tahini rim.
God.
Lovely.
Yes,
Yeah.
Just
fucking
delicious.
delicious.
I do like this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And here I go again,
Right.
being like, where were we? Because this is delicious.
Yeah.
So,
I like the texture.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Amazing.
Thank you again, and also shout out to Ritual Zero Proof. We adore you. Thank you.
Flexin'.
Truly.
So, what are some challenges that you have faced?
In terms of like the private dining business nowadays,
Hell yeah.
it's tough. I mean, like, I've really just been like the sole investor from the beginning, right? Like, I've just had to put up all my own money, which is fine. I think just breaking through the noise is a big one.
Right.
There's been definitely an exodus of people like leaving the restaurant industry and going into either other industries, but also just people getting more into the private dining business. So just kind of like standing out, like just being consistent in terms of like posting all the time and just like creating content all the time. Like this has not become a job.
Yeah.
So it's not anything that obviously I can't handle or can't become more savvy on, but those are some of the things. I mean, I think finding labor is not necessarily all that difficult, just because I think a lot of the people that do work with me now are people that I've worked with previously. They kind of like know the standards of which I operate under,
Right.
And they agree with it. So like that's not really all that difficult. But yeah, I think just breaking through the noise, right? Just like getting people to understand like why the prices are the way they are. You know what I mean? Like that's
I talk about
a
that
big
shit
one.
on a
And-
daily basis.
yeah, like and it's tough, right? It is really, really difficult because I try to be compassionate and be like, well, it's just these people just have no clue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, yes, they're
But
thinking about this stuff.
Some do though.
Sure.
But they want to play
100%.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And I mean, I get it. Like, I'd like to pay less for stuff all the time too, but like, I understand that labor is a thing, right? So,
Right.
And like just going back to like food costs in
it's
general,
huge,
like
yeah. And labor, man,
protein.
labor is a big one. Like, I want
Yeah.
to pay my people well, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they
Right.
deserve to be paid well. I want to create an environment in which people can. Like, I never went to culinary school, so hopefully, like, people can like use Veneto the same way that I use restaurants as like a school.
Yes,
right. I want to
yes.
be able to provide
that is the ideal
healthcare.
way to do it.
I want to
yeah.
provide whatever whether it's 401ks, but ultimately
You
just
got that healthcare.
no. I'm saying like I'm
and
trying to
working
get there. Like
towards
yeah, like
that.
that's the
I was
next
about
step.
to be like, if you did that,
But I am trying to do that, and I think
That's
you know,
amazing.
But you need the funds to be coming in to be able
Yeah.
to do stuff like that. And I think where people are just like, well, you're just making food, and I'm like, nah, man, but it's a lot of stuff. Like, and I'm, there's a lot of people and there's a lot of labor, dude. This is really tough.
that's like I start the conversation with normies, as I've been referring to them as recently, like
The equivalent of muggles.
Like yes, muggles.
Heard that.
yeah.
Okay.
The muggles. I keep
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
to them about like base level stuff, like, oh, someone will say the price of the burger is really expensive. And I'll be like, well,
Yeah.
last year, what had happened was
Yeah.
the price of like feed went up, which meant that because that price went up, they have to account for that with the product once they have to go to slaughter.
You
so like,
have more patience than I do. It's just like you
Well-
haven't heard of a supply chain.
well, the thing
it's
is
just
like,
it's a whole
I-
domino effect.
yeah, I just treat everyone like a toddler. And I
Yeah.
explain it at the base level because
Yeah,
like
that's the thing.
people
It's a
don't
tough
want to
one.
know themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like when you break it down to like the first part of it,
Right.
and they realize that the base expense, what they're consuming, cost money.
I mean, that makes
Yeah.
that
They,
makes a lot of
like,
sense because I
get
would bring
it.
an abacus to a toddler.
Yeah.
Actually. So I was just like,
It's
that's
a
fair.
tough position to be in for sure, because you're just like, there's better use of my time than to educate people on a consistent basis about this kind of stuff.
Well, that's what I'm here
But-
for. the
Yeah, but
education
that's
component.
the thing. It's like, it is tough, but if I really do want to see the change, then I just have to just keep at it. And
the fake
thankfully,
Gandhi quote
thankfully,
that's
I'm
like-
I'm blessed to be busy enough to where I just don't have to like take every single client that comes my way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if somebody's just trying to nickel and dime me on everything, I'm just like, it's not that serious, man. Like you either want the service or you don't.
Exactly.
And the fact of the, like,
and that's the client that is going to give you
the hardest
goddamn
the
time.
people that pay a lot of money for this stuff, like they understand that they're getting a quality thing, especially when they work with us on a more than once. Because that's like, I know what we're offering is definitely very special in a lot of ways. Like I think a lot of the ingredients that we use are very awesome. The silverware, the plateware, the everything, right? Like we're definitely trying to use awesome stuff and make this experience as amazing as possible. Yeah, and I get it. It is pricey, but I am bringing a restaurant to your house.
Yes.
And there's literally sometimes where I'm like, I'm building a kitchen. Like I have to rent out a van. Like I have to just, go to Tablescapes, go to all these places and just like rent out coolers and stuff. Like
understand that when you say that you're bringing a restaurant to their house, that we're not talking about DoorDash here.
No. I'm literally building one out at your house, man. Like
for sure.
I'm glass racks, like all plates, like all the silverware, like that. It's a lot of stuff. All the cooking equipment, because I don't know what you have. Right, like a part of like our consultation now, or our booking process is just like
doing a walkthrough, or
no, it's just like send pictures of your kitchen, dude.
Okay, yeah.
Because at least in like the infancy of this, like you would think that it was kind of be all these places, but like I remember going to a place in Gold Coast and just thinking like it's Gold Coast, it's probably going to be pretty nice, but it was just like an older building, like no vent, like just smoked this lady's house out.
Oh,
yeah.
And like fair. They're cool, like it wasn't like an issue, but in my mind I'm just like it worked out, but in my mind I'm just like, is this lessening the experience? Like if there was a way for me to just like show up here, like I would have just made the menu different and not be roasting whole pieces of beef and basting and yada yada. Like I would have just did something different. I would have just poached salmon like in a sous vide bag instead. Like, so it's, I mean, that, you live and you learn, and that's the whole part of the business.
Also,
I think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I've always been lucky when it came to like doing private events and stuff in people's homes.
Yeah.
But when I was doing 7 Species Supper Club with Stephanie Goldfarb, I love you. We were doing it in her apartment, and it was like a 3rd floor walk up. Yeah. Like we didn't do it in the summer because the ventilation was horrible. We were like, we would just all die together. But we had to like really plan the menu so that we weren't like fucking up, because the kitchen was like here, and then the dining room was like right out the door of the kitchen. So we couldn't get like too crazy, or we'd have to do it before people show up. And it was like fun and challenging, but like doing the like style of food that I was doing towards the end of my career, I could never. It's like
it's a tough one. I mean, that's what I think is planning. Like 90% of this whole thing is just like planning, right? Like there's the quote of like, it's better to, be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared.
That's right.
And like for me, it's just like I'm a planner, man. So like if I know all this stuff, like I can
the opportunity.
I'm the vision thing for me, the visualization thing for me is huge, man. Like I have replayed that moment a billion times in my mind before I ever showed up to that person's house.
Do you know what your rising is as well?
Capricorn. I told you I got 9. Like they're all just like it's a lot.
I wish that y'all could have seen my eyes just now, but
I'm sure they felt
it's
it.
coming together.
Yeah,
it's coming together.
But it's that's the thing. It's like the majority of it is planning. That's some of the challenges that I face on that end for sure. It's just like it still feels the same. I still have to do I now have to do everything, right? Like it's not just like I remember the days where all I had to do was just like worry about one station, and now it's just like I'm in marketing, and I'm also getting the groceries, and I'm washing the dishes, and I'm doing the consultations, and I'm following, and I've gotten an administrative assistant and stuff like that. Like I've moved up, or kind of used my resources as I've gotten them to.
Like you said, your delegation. You know that you can like delegate.
Yeah,
and like
but that's
find
what I'm saying.
To do it.
Like I worked for the Alinea Group for a long time. I worked at Roister for 4 years. So it's like when you're when you work for a place like that, I at least always understood it myself, but everyone else around you, I'm just like, you have endless resources.
Yes.
So like it's different. Like it's different when you're a single person starting out a business and being like, okay, dog, well I can't just like delegate that, right? Like it'd be cool if I could just tell somebody else to do it, but I can't. Like now I'm just doing. So my point is like the challenges like that I face are like I'm still working 18-hour days sometimes, right? Like I'm still grinding. Like I'm still, I got to go to the store, grab all the stuff, like prep everything, and then just get back and still answer emails and still do all that. Like make sure and like make sure that I'm setting it up properly for the staff to be having a successful time,
Yeah.
right? Just like creating their prep list, like making sure, like creating the environment. Like that's the thing, is like create an environment for people to thrive.
Yes. Which is the most important part
Yeah,
of kitchen work or any
well,
sort
these
of
people
like
are going to carry
labor-based
me
work.
and vice versa.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that this is just like a temporary thing, right? It's kind of like the rocket. Like it just uses 90% of its fuel to lift off, and then once you're there, like you're kind of coasting when you have the systems in place.
Don't get me started on space.
Yeah, but you know
I
what I'm
just
saying?
learned
though?
a lot,
Like,
so I do know what you're saying, which
Yeah.
is, to me, that was like one of the craziest parts of it. So I'm like, okay, so we spent all this money on fuel, and like almost all of it is used initially, and then you just like rely on space.
yeah, coast.
Yeah.
Like that
Coast,
shit
man.
is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
But I like, you know
Some
what?
smart
I don't-
motherfucker figured it out. And
Yeah,
I'm like, we
absolutely.
flying? That's crazy.
I just watched.
You're like, and we're still going. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not watch. I just read like this whole thing about like how we deal with using the bathroom in space, and
So we are talking about space.
that shit is primitive.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, because we are talking about space.
I thought this was like, you know, a post shift like conversation.
Yeah.
Are we not allowed to speak
No,
about
absolutely.
space?
I'm just like, no,
Okay.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
like,
wild. Okay, so the
like-
basis of it was women didn't get to go into space initially because they
Whack.
couldn't figure out how to make the bathroom situation work. But then you just
Because they
find
were
out that
designed
they
by
were
men?
making that shit up the
I
whole
was like, hold on,
time.
what are we talking about, dude?
They were just
I was like, what?
they were like,
Yeah.
first it was like
That's
a
so
condom
stupid.
sock that you would pee into, but then pee would get out of it because there's no gravity in space, and like so they had to figure out like a sack situation. And so many astronauts that went into space and came back dealt with like sepsis issues because you're in a
no.
suit holding your like your urine and your feces. And then it wasn't until they were like, we're sending a woman to space, that they were like, diaper maybe? Question mark.
But also, bro, like
Right?
if you told, like, if my whole life I was just like, man, I just dream of being an astronaut. They're like, you gonna have to wear a diaper. Like, that's crazy. I don't have that dream no more.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
all of a sudden, I'm not gonna be a grown ass man wearing a diaper, bro. This is crazy to me.
No.
I have a story for not on the mic because
Sure.
I love my best friend Jessie. I'm not going to blow up her spot, but
Fair. So
I know people.
Jesse wears diapers. That's
just like one time,
Okay, yeah.
and it was for like driving cross country because you know when you're moving with 4 cats,
That's
when you stop
in the car.
it was
gonna
a
try to
truck
get out.
and a car,
Hell no.
and it was like
Were they in cages?
yes.
Okay, because I'm like, imagine they just in the
Yes,
car.
Yeah, well, yeah like,
Trying to
yeah,
keep
I'm just
them-
like, it's. I mean, that would be a wrap.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a delicate situation, but
so-
she had always like, because we watched Grey's Anatomy a lot in college, and there was like a thing about the surgeons wearing diapers if they had to do this like really long surgery, and she was like, I want to wear a diaper, and she committed to doing it
Yeah.
for like that
And
road
that's
trip,
cool.
and I was
you know,
like,
if you got to do it, you got to do it.
I mean, you
Functionality
do
wise,
what you gotta do.
yeah. Functionality wise, like it's fine. I just think like having to sit in, like when you have awareness,
exactly.
like when you a
Sitting
child,
in
like,
it, that is
when
my
you a child and you
thing.
don't know,
it's different.
it's different.
It's different.
But when you know, you're like, man, this
You know.
is
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Astronauts.
Yeah.
Moving on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not a dream that I had.
Yeah.
But,
Oh
you know,
no, I never.
Shout out to those that.
Shout out to people that go
Did.
into
That did.
space and go
Yeah.
into the ocean because
Yeah.
I could never.
Yeah, I was like, no. So a few weeks ago, few weeks ago,
Time.
I helped out a friend of mine, at, just like a pop-up event at a home in Gold Coast, and this is
I
what I've been
forget that
thinking
you be
about for-
working. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. And so it was for 17 people. It was a birthday party situation. And the guy's birthday, it is. We actually know one another. So that was very, very interesting and wild. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because there was such a shock of the organization, the execution, the communication, the anticipation, like all of the things, because none of that was separated. It's just like you get to see and hear the people be like, okay, well, that's going to be up in 7 minutes, or you know, go check over here for like more wine. Here's a call for like 3 more like cocktails and like things like
Yeah.
that. And when you're able to literally put on the show in all capacities in front of people, that's when I believe that they start to actually get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
because they're like, damn, this isn't just
TV.
It's not just TV.
If you're seeing
it's
it in
not
the
just a
screen,
plate.
it separates.
Yeah, it's not just a plate that showed up in front of you. Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot, man. It's a
It's
lot
work.
goes on.
Yeah. And they just lost their collective mind
Yeah.
over and over and over again. They're just like, did you say behind? And I'm like, yes.
That's
Countless times.
Yes, I let him know where I was
Countless
at.
times.
Yeah.
Absolutely countless times. And it's just like, you like went around the corner and then you said corner and my mind like turned into mush. These people were absolutely wonderful. But it turned into mush because I was like, it's just so ingrained within me.
I do it
that
at the grocery
just-
store.
at the-
Like-
I do it,
you
at the
know,
grocery.
yeah,
I
just
mean,
like
what is a
all of
grocery
these
store
things.
if it's not just a big ass walk-in? Like,
Truly.
My
yeah. And I go to like the same ones too. Like, and I love that
Yes.
just because I like just know where everything
Yes.
is now. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, this is quick. Like, it's not like.
I love the grocery store. It is my favorite place in the
I
entire
agree.
world.
See, a lot of people are just like, man, I hate shopping. I'm like, dude, I
hate going to like clothes shopping.
Yeah,
I like.
that's
I'm
not
an in and out person. I
yeah,
know
like
what
I know what I want. Like I'm not gonna
Have
like
it or don't
try
have it.
things
No.
on. That's crazy to me, bro.
No.
Yeah, you either want it or you don't.
Yes.
Well, I also like the idea of going grocery shopping numerous times because I feel like us in America, it's just like you go, you fill up the cart, you put all the shit in it, you throw half of it in the freezer, and you know you're just like, well, I don't have to be back for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so as I live alone, I go to the grocery store 3 times a week if I have time.
Well, that's the better way for doing it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I had to grow into that though, because I'm like, you know, having all of this fresh produce is amazing. But I'm just like, it looks so good
Yeah, then it
in
just
my
goes bad,
fucking
though.
refrigerator that I don't want to touch it. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna order takeout.
That's crazy.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb. So stupid. So stupid.
It's a convenience, man. It's
Yeah,
easy.
but I did it.
Yeah.
But then also I'd be like, shit.
I'm
I
working
like-
on that too.
It's like I went to the grocery store, I brought all the things home, I made it look super beautiful.
Because you're an aesthetic bitch, but you always leaving.
But I was just like, but I got to like fuck it up now. Yeah. And I also like I gotta fuck up some dishes.
Yeah.
And I gotta wash those. And then I get so focused on like, you know, I have all of these options. How can I make it as visually pleasing to me? Because these eyes eat first. So
truly.
I'm like, there it is. All the time.
Yeah.
Swear to God. You know?
Yep.
And I mean, we missed the opportunity this year. But when January rolls back around, olive and oxtail stew
yes.
season, okay? Because even when I make that, I'm just like, oof, this don't look nothing to play with.
Yeah.
But when it's plated, baby,
Good.
you fucked around and found out.
That's
okay?
one of those things. I mean,
What
you
it
could like
is.
freeze that too. Like, I think like that's, you know, I'm so busy a lot of the time. Like, I rarely cook for myself all that much.
I'm just starting to get back into cooking
Yeah.
for
but-
myself.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like,
but it's been 3 years since
But
I've
I've made so
working.
much to where I've literally come here and just like given
Giving
it
it
to
out,
people.
yeah.
I was just like, here you go, here you go.
right.
Boom.
Yeah. I
Have
don't
a
really
great
know
time.
how to make individual portions of shit. That's one thing for sure. I'm like just making a whole lot. I
I'm
mean,
a batch
I'll eat it for a
bitch.
couple days, but I'm
Right.
just like, the way that I do it, at least, I'm
I'm
like, man,
not
just.
a leftovers person, but that's why I have a partner to eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, you know, for anyone that's listening and wants to get up on some game, it's just like, dude, just make big batches of stuff and freeze it. Like meal
I do that with
prepping,
soup.
like it sounds annoying, but it's super helpful and it's
Yeah.
definitely a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And freaking delicious, man. I don't know, like you can order stuff and you're like, this is pretty good, but like, I mean, I know this isn't everyone's luxury, but I'm like, I'm more than likely gonna make it taste a little bit better or very specific to what I want at least. So
I
like,
feel like
Right.
if I did meal prep, everything would have to be like cold. Like I hate
Sure.
reheating things
Yeah,
after a
yeah.
certain number of days.
oh, I don't mean
So,
like,
like,
yeah, I don't
when-
mean like everything, but like I'll
Yeah.
just like brine the chicken and just like bag it, right?
Yes.
So that I can just sous vide it. Like if I get home and it's already out, like I'll sous vide it for 10 minutes and it's
You got chicken.
ready and it's like
Ooh, I have a question for you. Okay, Instagram keeps like shoving this content talking about like microwavable containers that you could cook anything in.
Yeah, that's
How do you feel about them?
That's weird, man.
Yes!
Shit like that is weird to me. I don't
know what
like.
that
That's
means.
not my thing.
So like I get it. Like certain people don't have access to like gas
Sure.
stoves or like electric stoves or whatever in their
I'm
homes.
getting what
So I
you're
see
saying
like
now.
who they're marketing it to. However,
I just think you're gonna grow a culture of people just being like, "Well, this is quick and easy. Thank you."
yes.
Of course.
Like
listen.
I'm not here for it. I'm also someone who like I would rather braise things the old fashioned way in the
100%,
oven
yeah.
than like
Delicious.
doing some newfangled gobbledygook. I just sounded like a 80-year-old man.
No, some of the things are
Not gonna do
just
it.
some of the things are just time savers. Like if I don't like, I'll leave the sous vide on at home, but I'm not about to like leave something braising in the oven and then leave. Yeah, this is so good.
Okay, I'm sorry to interject, but God damn it, this is
So
Super tasty.
awesome.
Yeah.
when I first looked at her, my brain was like, when I read Miami Nice, I was like, is this a play on a Miami Vice? Which I'm a big slut for Miami Vices. The last time I was in Vegas, I drank so many of them in a 36-hour period that I made myself ill. But
You in Vegas, so
this, she's
Yeah.
so pretty and tasty. And Ritual Rum is
Ritual
like
zero proof
zero
rum
proof
alternative.
rum alternative is delightful.
Yes.
I am usually not a fan of like strong vanilla notes.
Well, this is
or
coconut
caramel
washed.
Yeah.
lit. So this is
Yeah.
yes.
And so
I'm glad it's not
Okay.
too sweet too. Like I'm just not I don't love sweets in general, but like sweet cocktails kill me. So this is perfect.
yes,
Pretty
this
bit tasty.
Ooh,
Miami
tangy.
Nice. With,
And it got a snack.
yes, it does. With coconut washed Ritual rum alternative, again coming from Ritual Zero Proof. So thank you again to our friends at Ritual Zero Proof. With lime juice, simple, 2 strawberries, and a slice of pineapple. And this is served over a Kori ice cube. And for those that might have forgotten about Kori Ice in regards to their contribution to Terms of Service, they are a second chance program, and they cut their ice with the same steel as samurai swords.
Remember when we met him at Esme?
Shout out to Neil. Absolutely.
Aw.
Just saw him on Thursday.
I just remembered
hence this
that.
ice.
Hey,
So,
I want to touch this ice like
Go
a
for it.
magic crystal ball.
well, it's gorgeous. So
I'm doing it.
Nice,
the whole
nice.
thing.
Yeah, I touched it too. I just didn't tell nobody.
No, I mean it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm
Before I
like, but
even
this
drank
ice
it.
is still going to be here by the time I finish this because this is going down.
Oh man,
Truly. Yeah.
you know when you think of like intrusive thoughts
when I think of intrusive thoughts,
and
they
then
just
you let
happen.
them happen?
Yeah. I don't think it, but go
I
ahead.
also hang out with like a 12-year-old. I'm not just like hanging out with kids. I know them.
Okay.
They're like
You can.
they're
It's,
like
you know.
fam people.
Okay.
But the 12-year-old, also a Capricorn,
Nice.
let the intrusive thought win the other day. At school, they were like egging them on a little bit to like, oh, can you like smash your hand into this like toothpick? Because you know, like in school lunches, they have like the sandwich with the
Yeah,
toothpick.
you think about like the ticket holder?
Yes.
Jeez, all the time. Every
All
time
the
I see one, I'm just
time.
like, just
And
see what
she
it's like.
just did it. She let the
Did she?
intrusive
I
thought win.
swear.
And like the toothpick got lodged in her hand. So now she's on antibiotics. And
I get it, man. I don't know why.
because the
it's like
school
that.
nurse like had to call my friend Delaney and be like, your kid just did this. But it's freaking out because like trying to explain to a parent about like this thing happening, and the entire time Delaney's like, I'm actually a nurse and you could just tell me. So yeah,
Crazy.
it's just like,
It's nuts.
why are the intrusive thoughts winning?
I don't know, man. I totally get it for whatever reason. Like, it's the same thing with me in like tall buildings. I'm just like, I don't want to jump, but like I do. I want to fly. Like I just like if I could live,
That
like
is
if I could live,
specifically to your people.
I'm like,
the
dude,
Capricorns just
for
want to
sure.
feel alive.
Yeah, I just want to feel like. I mean, I've been.
What's your favorite kind of ride at an amusement park?
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been in so long. I feel like, but it's got to be just something that just goes like, what's like the
Is it
The
the one
Raging
that
Bull was-
shoots up and goes
the
down?
I
Raging
had
Bull
a
was
feeling that
dope.
you were gonna say
Which
But-
one?
The
Raging Bull is cool
because
because it goes real high and it's super high where you're just like, "Phew, man, this is real dangerous. Like anything could go wrong at any moment." Or what's the other one? Like V2, the vertical velocity.
Oh, the one that goes
Where it
back
just-
and forth.
Yeah, but it just goes real freaking high. Like that's.
I hated that one. I thought I was like, oh, I could do
hated,
this,
like,
but when it
Iron
goes
Wolf.
backwards,
Yeah.
and then
Iron
like
Wolf
drops,
used to be the jam.
How if you got a crotch, man? I'm like that's crazy.
I
Like
mean,
anybody that
it was not- it was not
human
a good
being.
jam.
Yeah, I'm like,
It
oh
was-
my god.
A jam. It was.
Yeah,
it was not
I
ideal.
prefer to be seated for sure. But I've been skydiving, been like bungee
no,
jumping.
absolutely the
Yeah,
fuck
man,
not.
I know. It's crazy when you're up there. We were in Vegas,
Always.
so just doing Vegas shit, right? Like you already know. It's,
Wait, did you do the like zip line thing?
Oh,
no,
Okay.
no. I'm talking about the skydiving thing. I was there for a friend's bachelor party. We're out in the middle of fucking desert nowhere, and you get on this plane and everyone's like having fun, right? You're with a bunch of other people, and you're on the plane, you're going up, and you're like, damn, we're fucking high up here, man. Like it is really high. And then 15 minutes later, you're like, oh shit,
We have to
we're
jump out.
really high up here. Like we're still going up, and the whole time the guys are just making like death jokes. I'm like,
wow.
this is not funny, man. I mean, which is crazy because the guy, I mean, for them, he's like, yeah, that's
Keep
my
it.
like 10th time jumping a day, like he just does,
Today?
like he just does this all day. But then all of a sudden, I mean, and I was the first person to go in the plane, which means that I'm the last person to jump. So I just watched all my friends just get like, boom, just swooped out. And you're just thinking to yourself, I'm like, man, this is a perfectly good plane, and you're just about to jump out of it. But I did, man. It was, and I would do it again. I love that feeling. But in terms of like that intrusive thought, like every time I'm in it, like it's this building, I'm like on top of it, and I'm just like, I can't stand too close to the edge, man. Like I'm not afraid of heights, but I really just want to like feel that rush.
The 12-year-old shares that vibe with you.
Yeah,
I don't
the
get it.
Capricorn.
I just have to say this thing.
Yes.
I have to.
What?
Because the whole time, and I'm sorry, and I'm standing by every syllable
Yeah.
that I'm about to say. That's some white people shit. Like,
Absolutely.
I can't
100%.
because
From the time we started talking,
the
clenched
thrill seeker is just like, you know what?
There's no caution there.
Yeah, like I'm looking for something to get my heart rate
You know
up.
why that is?
You know what that happens to black people?
Like
cardiac
daily.
arrest.
Yes.
Okay, insane. There are things that I can look at that I know, kayaking being one, that I'm simply not built for.
Yeah, the kayaking. Yeah, I think the
But
thing.
we're not
the
going to get
thing-
into it.
I think the
we
thing
might not
about-
going to get into it.
the thing
we can
about-
get into it though.
The thing about like skydiving, the way I look at it, I'm just like, that's a quick, surefire death if it's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
But kayaking, bro, if you stuck in that and like you flip upside down or something, bro, I'm not about to drown and like be like.
He gets me.
That's
He gets
crazy.
me.
Like if you were flipped upside down and my legs are trapped in there, like I got
Francis
nothing.
gets- see?
Yeah, I'm gonna just close my eyes when I'm in the when I'm like skydiving and I'm about to die. Just be like, well, this is gonna happen, and I'm gonna see Jesus soon. But
We were literally in
no,
less
I
than
said
4
we're not
minutes
gonna
of
get into
water,
it.
Justin.
Anyhow.
drowning ain't it? Drowning.
Anyhow, we're not going to go ahead and get into the whole thing right now. Okay, it's just like again.
I almost down
God.
by drowned when I was a child too. So
Same.
Yeah.
What
So
was
I
your
can't.
experience?
I mean,
We
I
were-
almost did as well.
Yeah. I was fishing with my
Back in
dad.
August.
I was fishing with my dad. We'd go on these like camping trips. It would just be like me and him. And we were in Albania. We were like in a river canyon situation, just a river, a real strong river. And I mean, I was probably like 6 or 7 or something. He's like, all right, wait over here. I was like, I'm gonna walk this stuff across, and then I'm gonna come get you. And I don't listen, man.
Yeah.
So I went. And I definitely seen the light for sure. Like next thing I know is like he's just pulling me out the water, you know.
That's real.
So shout out to him. But yeah, so I'm just like the drowning thing. I mean, like the ocean, for example, right?
I don't fucks with the ocean.
It's beautiful because I can respect it,
Yes.
right? Because I'm just like
Yeah,
vast.
it needs to be respected.
But that's
Yeah, I'm
all
just
you.
like I'm
the
like
ocean, that's
vast,
all
like
you.
being out in open water, man. I'm like that's shit is scary as fuck.
I almost
So-
got drowned by a pelican when I
Oh,
was
see,
very
they
small
mean, bro.
swimming.
They mean.
But I was like swimming under the water and I was trying
Wild
to come
animals.
up and I couldn't. And I thought I was
It's
like
pushing you down?
It was no, I didn't realize that a pelican had landed
On your
and
head?
it was a big, like one of the big brown ones because in Trinidad that's like the kinds that we
Okay.
have. And I finally like get out from underneath it and it's just looking down at me and I'm now backing into the deep trying to get away from it.
Bro,
so
give me a wing.
my like mom, distracted it while my aunt like went around and snatched me
was
out.
trying to kill you?
But it was like
Damn.
trying to swallow me.
Trying to take you out the game.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah. They're brutal. They're brutal.
Yeah,
They'll be trying
I
to
don't
kill.
really fuck with the ocean
Yeah.
like that. I respect it.
Yeah.
It's like nature. Like
Yep.
all of that's yours.
Yep.
We
Yep.
built all this shit here. I'm a fucks with this.
Yeah.
I respect what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Real
going to
real
Yellowstone
murderous.
with the boyfriend's family is going to be real interesting at the end
Yeah.
of summer.
Yeah.
We're camping.
Yeah. Ooh,
for
that's
a
fun.
week.
Yeah.
Damn.
Glamping. Or is it just straight up camping?
They're from Florida, so it's camping.
Yeah, they're like Everglades ass people.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah. I get that.
Yep.
Yeah. What like my best friend, he's black. He definitely don't fuck with the camping thing either. We were just in the Upper Peninsula, same thing. He's like, as long as we in the cabin, man. I was like, my ass is just like, I'll sleep anywhere. I'll sleep outside and shit.
It's-
He's like,
For me
He's not about it at all.
personally, it's like I grew up on a Caribbean island.
Yeah.
And nature was just like every fucking where. Like in your house against your own will.
yeah.
So my rule now as an adult living in America is like I pay rent.
Yeah.
Y'all don't pay rent. So
Right.
if you come into my home, you're trespassing. I
Yeah.
get to murder you.
Yeah.
Fair.
But if you're outside, I respect it. That's your world.
Right. That's everybody. That's yeah.
You know,
we all
like-
share this.
Yeah.
Spiders,
Yeah.
live your life.
Live your life.
Like,
eat them,
but
eat them other
everything else-
bugs.
But,
You
know,
do that.
Some
Some spiders I will leave alone indoors, but
Yeah, 'cause
in
they eat the other
Trinidad they're
bugs.
like the
Big.
size of like the fucking
No,
And they
light
be
no, no.
eating
switch
birds and
handle.
shit.
No, yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're
exactly.
Like
I'm not fucking around
bird
and
eating
finding
spiders.
out.
I'm like, dog, you.
No.
No,
crazy to me.
I don't want that. That's crazy.
Well,
Like, how do we get here?
Yeah. I was just like,
That's the magic of
I
terms
was,
of
I
service.
was just like, and here we are, because we are approaching time,
Amazing.
Yeah.
my
Yes.
friends.
Amazing.
And
Started at the tip, now
Yeah.
we're at the taint.
Yeah.
Heard
Yeah.
from
the mouths
the
of
Reba,
babes.
yes, that was like
That's
from
me,
the
'cause
Reba's
I baby.
lips to the audience ears. So yes. In closing, I have a final question
Sure.
for you, Francis. What advice would you give to those that are interested in doing the damn thing on their own?
Don't do it. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, I'm totally kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
totally
fair.
kidding. I think
Fair.
it's definitely not for everyone. I think the advice that I would give to people is like make sure that you're committed.
Right.
But it's no joke. It's definitely gonna have its ups and downs. But I think it's like anything else, where you just don't know the outcome, so you're gonna kind of like always feel that pressure in a way. But I think if you just kind of know some things about yourself and just how you operate as a human, it's like your brain is designed to keep you alive and not make you happy, right? So I think it's going to feel sometimes as though like, well, I don't know the outcome, so this thing feels scary. And I think, you know, when things feel scary, like just jump, and just be fully committed. If you're going to do it,
Do it all the way.
yeah, just do it all the way, man. Just don't half-ass it. Like just go for it. And I think
Whole
that's
ass.
use
Got
your
it.
whole ass. Like, and that's for anything in life in general. I think at the end of the day, if I could just kind of segue, like use this, but also segue into saying like, whatever you're doing, just try to make sure that you're becoming the best version of or like trying to become the best version of yourself so that you can give more to others.
Yeah.
And that's something that's so prominent in my life, especially when I was growing up. It was just like this community-based thing where it's just like, that's an honorable way to live, of being like, I'm going to try very hard to become the best version of myself so that I can give back to the community and then we can all thrive. Having had the experience of coming from somewhere else, I think sometimes in America, we kind of get away from the fact that there's other people on the planet.
I say that all the fucking time.
But it's really, really true. And like, I'm not saying that I'm not grateful and stuff like that, and that I live a fucking phenomenal life. I think a lot of us do here for sure, but it's like at the expense of a lot of other people.
Exactly.
And so, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take time off, that you shouldn't take care of yourself. Obviously you can't pour from an empty cup. Like, make sure that you're taking care of others. But the point is to fill and to overflow. So, just realize that there are other people that don't have the privilege of pursuing meaning. My parents' generation, you guys, parents' generation and stuff like that, like they just survived, right?
Yeah.
Like they just made it through, and like we're in a position now where we can actually live and pursue meaning and just like do this as a job. You know what I'm saying? So just like understand that you have this privilege. Try to become the best version of yourself and give a helping hand to other people. It's super important. Like I don't think it's gonna happen overnight, and I don't think you should be discouraged just because things aren't happening as quickly as you think. But I think, if I were on my deathbed, like that's one thing I would want to think for myself is like I gave it my all. I try to show as much love to other people as possible, and I try to give, man. So yeah, give more than you receive for sure. That's what I got for y'all.
All right.
No, that was amazing.
Wait.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like, if someone wants to find you, like, how can they do that?
I'm definitely I'm all over social media altogether.
That you are.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm here for it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think, if you want to check us out and know more about us in depth, you can go to vendedor.com. That's a very great resource. But outside of that, Vendedor Chicago is the Instagram handle, is the TikTok handle, is the Facebook handle.
Oh, the TikTok,
we're on everywhere, man. I'm trying to blow this thing up. I'm like evangelical about this thing. I genuinely believe that we have an amazing product, and I want to share this mission with everybody. It's not just about the food and stuff like that. So, if you guys have enjoyed this, please just reach out to us. I don't, care if you follow us or not and stuff like that, but just like tell people about it, man. Spread the message, show some love. It's so much more than just about the food. I'm really, really, really trying to create this culture for sure, and like try to make that shift where we go back to the roots of like, why are we actually doing this whole thing to begin with? The reasons are important, man. They're gonna keep getting you back up. So if you have a goal in mind, and you have reasons to back it up, it's going to keep moving you forward. So yeah, please connect with us all over social media. Reach out to us, man, like via email. chefs@vendedor.com is the best way to reach us directly. And
all right.
Yeah, awesome.
Meh.
Well,
Meh.
doing the things that I know that we need to do.
Gotta do it.
I have a final question for you, Francis. How was your time with us?
Amazing. I've had a really good time. This is super fun. This is my first podcast
chill.
ever. Yeah.
Hey.
It's chill. I like that there's a general agenda of like questions and stuff that you want to like find out, but there's also room for us to talk about.
Shoot the shit.
Yeah. Skydiving and whatever.
You're a whole person, and we want. I think the thing that we always want to come across in podcast recordings is that people that work in the food service industry are people.
100%. No, I mean, like that's
like we're not just like talking about business all the time. Like that's 80% of being in the kitchen is
people
shit
in general. I think like that's in general. I think like that's like the one word that gets taken away where people like something, and it's just like but people, right? Like these are human beings. They have thoughts and feelings the same way that you all do. It's very important to be compassionate. So I appreciate that you guys create a space for people to just come up and, be able to be open and talk about stuff. And it's something very special that you're doing. I personally, I'm not a huge podcast person myself. So it's not like I listen to this all the time. So I don't know if there's other like stuff like this within Chicago, but I hope this blows up, man. I hope you guys get more and more influential people out there.
Thank you.
I hope you get more and more people on here that can really help spread your message as well.
Everyone helps spread it.
Absolutely.
It's going where it needs to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Year 2, season 3, baby.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Shit like that is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Meh.
Well,
thank you all for having me.
Absolutely. So in closing, I would like to give an absolute massive shout out to our home studio here at Blind Barber. Thank you so very much. Also, shout out once again to Corey Ice. So Corey Ice is a second chance program, and they cut their ice from the same steel used to make samurai swords, which again is dope as hell. And also thank you to Jack for stepping in for the Garnet crew for these absolutely delicious beverages.
Yes.
Also, thank you so much, Colin, on documentation. Max, always and forever. Thank you. And finally, a supreme shout out to Ritual Zero Proof for all of their support and belief in this platform so we can continue to have equitable conversations for tangible change within all facets of the hospitality scope. And my name is Justin Arnett Graham, and you can find me on Instagram at This Is Biko.
Hi. Oh, I guess bye. My name's Nariba Shepherd. You can find me on Instagram at Rebaroo. Justin put my fucking email out there now, so you can find me.
She's not gonna respond.
She's not gonna respond
She's not gonna get back to you,
It's
dog.
okay. Yeah.
You could try though.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I guess we'll see you next time. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.
Peace.
Easy.
Woo. All right. Okay.